Solo.
Today we will discuss DC Profiles. In this episode of DC Profiles we will talk about Columbia Heights rapper KHI Glock. KhiGlock is a rapper from northwest Columbia Heights village. And KhiGlock would began rapping around 6 to 7 years ago, dropping his first music video on his YouTube channel, titled 50. And after dropping this, KHI Glock would stay consistent, dropping multiple music videos throughout the years, gaining a ton of views. And one of his most popular songs, titled That's Law, would go viral in the DMV area, racking up over 1 million views. In the That's Law music video, multiple CHV members can be seen toting different types of guns, and some of these members are Petty Letty, Too Lit, 2 Act, Few Hop, and many more. CHV members. Petty Letty can be seen in the That's Law music video next to KhiGlock, and Petty would be killed around Tyler House back in 2022, after 2 suspects would ambush him as he walked back to his car with his girlfriend. People believe that he was set up by his girlfriend because of how he was ambushed and his tires being flattened before being killed.
Solo.
KHI Glock would have some beef with the Foxes too, and would even be dissed by 37th rapper Baby Jamo in a song featuring KhiGlock op Migo Lee. In the song, Jamo says that if he catches KhiGlock, he's going to knock him out, and KhiGlock would be locked up around this time, I believe. But when Glock would come home, he would clear the air about CHV and 37th relationship, saying that if he catches any of his men messing with the Foxes, he's cracking them, basically making his men pick a side between 37th or CHV, and as we know, some of the CHV members are related to some 37th members. So KHI Glock saying this would cause some alias inside beef around CHV. KHI Glock would end up allegedly getting into an altercation with his men around CHV, and Few Hop from CHV would end up catching a headshot from KHI Glock, officially starting inside beef around CHV. Too Lit would drop a new song dissing KHI Glock. Do you think CHV has completely stopped messing with KHI Glock after he shot his own man?
You can ask, I be potting these with last nigga try to bend on my way and got dead. Lil' Bruck go to headshot, he trick. I'm smoking on blue, he ain't hand like shit. I'm the drive, I'm still hopping out my switch. Shout out to Lil' J, which I terrorize rich. Shit, y'all getting crazy, beefing with the men. But I had to put shit on my shot with a friend. I ain't fucking with niggas, all they is my Glock. What the fuck you think? I try to pull up a Glock. My beat was gonna kill me, I told him let's rhyme. They go that this shit got my trends on lock. Shout out to Lil' Cuz, got me fuck over top. Nigga free Rick 30, was bumping that chop. Take his dad down the street, left his mother and shot. I don't fuck KHI Glock, but I'm fucking with Glock. If you know, then you know. If you know, then you know. You can ask all the men, I be geeking the blow. White boy, yo, shit, he keep screaming, let's go. He was loafing out Merlin, I'm smoking on Zone, I'm smoking on Zone.
Solo.
Now we will get into the KHI Glock shoots FUHOP paperwork. On May 10, 2025, at approximately 23:46 hours, CIC ShotSpotter alerted to the detection of gunfire in the 1200 block of Harvard Street Northwest. Nearly 4 seconds later, a second detection of gunfire was brought east in the 2700 block of 13th Street Northwest. Contemporaneously to these events, Detective Sergeant Krevling was traveling in the area of the 1300 block of Columbia Road Northwest and advised that individuals were actively firing guns in the area. Uniformed members of the 3rd District saturated the area and located spent cartridge casings throughout the south alley of the 1300 block of Columbia Road Northwest. More specifically, within the Columbia Heights Village housing complex. Officers or detectives who located cartridge casings in the west walkway, adjacent to 1308 Columbia Road Northwest, on the west side of rear 1310 Columbia Road Northwest, across from 1306 Columbia Road Northwest, in front of 1304 Columbia Road Northwest. There were handgun and rifle casings found on the scene. Over 30 cartridge casings were found on the scene, in addition to two handguns that were recovered. Detectives Amengual, Dowd, and Ripes self-dispatched to the scene to assist in the investigation. Detective Amengual contacted Ms. Kim Brunson of Digital Video Solutions, the company responsible for maintaining the video surveillance system within the Columbia Heights Village housing complex. Ms. Brunson forwarded multiple videos of how the incident occurred. The video titled 1310 Rear Pets _2005_05:10_8 PM_39_51 is timestamped 8:39 PM, making it 3 hours slow. The video shows a crowd hanging out in front of and adjacent to 1308 Columbia Road Northwest. The video has a group of individuals congregating in the rear of 1310 Columbia Road Northwest. Throughout the video, an individual who would later be identified as Mr. Kyle Kearney and will henceforth be referred to as Defendant Kearney, is seen pacing back and forth between both groups. Defendant Kearney is seen wearing black shorts with gray compression shorts, white socks, black shoes, and a black hooded sweater, wearing a white backpack. Defendant Kearney walks up to people and appears to engage them in verbal arguments. At 8:45 PM, video time, Defendant Kearney is seen removing his backpack, reaching in and removing a long gun from inside. Defendant Kearney holds the long gun down and walks backwards towards the front of 1306 Columbia Road Northwest. An unknown individual hiding within the crowd adjacent to 1308 Columbia Road Northwest fires multiple rounds towards Defendant Kearney, and Defendant Kearney runs back near the front of 1306 Columbia Road Northwest and appears to discharge the long gun, as muzzle flash in the same general direction as the John Doe was firing his gun. A person is seen running away from within cars in front of 1304 Columbia Road Northwest. As the person begins to run from between the cars, the person drops to the ground and remains there for several seconds. The location where the person falls and a small pool of blood is found is the location where the second handgun was found. Due to the sounds of gunshots, officers began to saturate the area to assist. Officer Stanford, driver, Officer McFarland, passenger, and Officer Mailwain, rear passenger, responding to the area when they observed a gray Acura bearing Virginia registration TCA 8036, later found to be registered to Javon Brown, occupied 4 times, and observed the driver of the vehicle speed up through intersections and disregarding traffic control signals, run through the red-facing lights at the intersection of Sherman Ave Northwest and Harvard Street, and at times driving with disregard to other motorists by entering the opposite lanes of travel in the 100 block of Michigan Avenue Northwest. Upon observing this vehicle's erratic driving, attempted to get the license plate of the vehicle. While driving eastbound in the 1200 block of Harvard Street Northwest, MPD officers lost sight of the vehicle and began canvassing for the vehicle. Officers then began canvassing in the 200 block of Michigan Avenue Northwest when they observed the same Acura. Immediately after observing the vehicle, the driver lost control and crashed in the unit block of Michigan Avenue Northwest. Following the accident, Defendant Kearney, along with Mr. Roman Hall, date of birth September 27, 2001, Mr. James Kearney, date of birth August 28, 2007, and another unknown individual exited the car that had become disabled and began to flee on foot. Officer Stanford then gave chase defendant Kearney, who fled southbound on foot in the unit block of Michigan Avenue Northwest. After a brief foot pursuit, defendant Kearney stopped running and surrendered to Officer Stanford. Defendant Kearney, after jumping out of the vehicle, was observed by Officer Stanford running with one free hand and the other making a cupping motion, as if grabbing onto a heavy-weighted object that was secreted inside of the compression pants. Based on the way that defendant Kearney was conducted, and based on Officer Stanford's training and experience in recovering firearms from individuals who wear compression, a pat-down was conducted, and immediately felt a hard metal object consistent with a firearm. The below-listed firearm was recovered from defendant Kearney's compression shorts on his inner left thigh. At the time of recovery, the firearm appeared to be fully functional, is designed to expel a projectile by means of an explosive action, has a barrel length of less than 12 inches, and is capable of being fired by the use of a single hand. A police records check determined that defendant Kearney does not have a license to carry a pistol in the District of Columbia, and that defendant Kearney does not have a pistol registered in the District of Columbia, as required by law. Defendant Kearney was placed under arrest for carrying a pistol without a license, possession of unregistered ammunition, possession of unregistered firearm, and possession of large-capacity ammunition feeding device, and was transported to the 3rd District for processing. A record showed that defendant Kearney, as conditions of his release, to stay away from the 1300 to 1400 block of Columbia Road Northwest. 2023 CF 20030012. A criminal records check showed that defendant Kearney was found guilty in the state of Maryland of a crime punishable by more than a year. C-16 C R 23-000377. Defendant Kearney was also charged with felon in possession of a firearm and contempt of court for violation of his pre-trial release conditions. As detectives were clearing the scene, a call for a shooting was made at 1313 Columbia Road Northwest, apartment 201. Officers and detectives responded and found the complainant sitting on the living room couch. The complainant was unable to speak as he was suffering from a gunshot wound to his chin and another to the left side of his head. The complainant's mother said that the complainant had just walked in the current conditions that he was found. The complainant was transported to MedStar Washington Hospital Center for treatment. Detective Ripes responded to the hospital in an attempt to interview the complainant. The complainant was sedated, had been intubated, and was in surgery. Detective Amengual and Detective Ripes attempted to interview defendant Kearney. Defendant Kearney invoked and did not wish to provide a statement. Defendant Kearney was identified via a WALES/NCIC check as Kyle Kearney, D.O.B., November 27, 2003, of Washington, D.C. KhiGlock would end up being released and have all his charges dropped, but a lot of CHV members are sneak dissing or just saying they don't mess with KhiGlock. Do you think KhiGlock will have to switch hoods?
So the man take care of this bitch for him, though. Just let us get this motherfucker. We gonna take care of this job for you. Lord, I can get a block for my shit, bitch. All this shit, I'm getting all this shit. You won't get killed. Nigga, we running your buildings. You know how I got, nigga. You know how I get killed. To the nose, nigga. I'm killing my motherfucking weapon. I'm killing my weapon. Nigga, I'm hard on fire. I'm killing my weapon. These niggas ain't never gonna rob me.
Do CHV run uptown?
That's a question. That's a question the streets gonna answer.
Is there other rappers from your neighborhood?
Who? Yeah. Yeah.
What's their names?
You got Too Lit. Shout out Too Lit. You got Mud Life. You got Baby Free Cop. You got RTK Trap. You got Law That. You got K3. And you got me.